Hold on a second here. I wanted to look at something. You know, it's funny, with the Dow being up over 100 points, when I did my errand runs this afternoon, I was listening to CNBC, and there was a guy on there. I don't know who it was. I was listening to the radio, and he says that this was, 1 o'clock this afternoon, and he says the Dow's going to be up over 85 points today, over 8,500 today. And it was like about 25 points shy at that point in time. And you know what? Those last 25 points came on right at the end of the day, Bob. You know, so, I mean...
They do every day.
But he was...
And it's just the manipulation. They just don't care.
Yeah, he was predicting...
They don't care what we think anymore. Again, the end justifies the means.
Yep.
And, you know, these people on CNBC are making big money, not the people who visit there, but the professional employees. And they're not going to say anything that's truthful about the market. They're going to tell you what you need to hear. And that's why people are so befuddled. They see all these dreadful news, and the market goes up.
My point was he knew. I mean, they already knew where it was going to go today. You know, they knew exactly where it was going to. They were already told, just like the leaking of the stress test for tomorrow, you know.
Happened a week ago.
Today, a lawyer, Thomas Loria, representing the hedge funds, was interviewed, and there are charges that the White House threatened, even issued death threats at some companies to accept the deal as proposed by the government in the Chrysler bankruptcy. Evidently, White House wants them to take 29 cents on the buck, but they are insisting on 50 cents. Are we at the point of Bolshevik dictatorship? And that's from Ivan.
Well, I think it's now a combination of socialism and fascism. The brand of socialism is very close to Marxism, so it's a combination. But either way, it's dreadful. The American people are going to become prisoners in their own country. And, you know, everything points to a revolution. That's what it points to. And these people are playing with fire because it's not only in America. You don't know what's going on over in Europe. They have riots there all the time. I mean, I get emails every day from friends as well as subscribers, and many of them are friends as well. And they're telling me about the riots that are going on over there that we hear nothing about. And so, and this is going on in other parts of the world as well. And when this thing comes down, and we're not far away from it, I mean, this thing can't last more than a few years, pumping money and credit into the world economy and creating the incipient inflation that comes as a result of that. And there's going to be revolution everywhere. And they know that. But they think they can handle it. And I don't think they can.
Monday I had asked you a question about the homes being demolished. And today I got a question. There was a YouTube video by Vision Victory about homes being demolished in California. And
I saw it.
Yeah, I did too. And I saw it on the news last night. And just bulldozing over new homes.
Well, they were partially built. They weren't completed, but they did bulldoze them. That's true. And I think it's going to be happening elsewhere as well. And that's why I've kept my shorts on the builders and the suppliers.
Amazing. Ron is curious about the effects of deflation. Do you know what effect deflation has had on salaries historically, such as in Japan in the 1990s? Is a drop in salaries of 20% or 40% in the U.S. likely down the road?
Yes, it is. And those are for the people who are lucky to have jobs. Once deflation starts, and whenever the aluminum is designated to time, you'll have these wars going on, maybe a third world war. And a lot of the potential workers will be drafted into military service to go and die. That'll be both men and women. They'll probably start with 19 and 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, and I don't think that's far away. I don't have any special information on that. That is a take that I have on what's going on, and I think that's why they have had selective service in the mode that they've had selective service in for some time. In other words, it's all ready to go when they need it. And I do think that they're going to come to that. I talked to a woman yesterday who has 4 children, 2 of them in college, a boy and a girl. No, 3 children, and 1 of them in high school. And I said, if you don't want them to go when this happens, you better get them out of the country.
His second question, let's see, is in reference to the Federal Reserve. He finds it simply amazing and criminal that we allow the Federal Reserve to exist. Isn't the Federal Reserve and other central banks essentially where all the funding comes from for the Illuminati, which then they use to purchase the major media outlets and buy off the politicians in their goal to destroy us?
The answer is yes. And, it's interesting that I have a program coming up, and I'm trying to pull it up here. I don't have the details on it, but I was asked to go on with this former Congressman Ney, N-E-Y. He just spent, as of, I guess, about a year ago, he spent, I think, 17 months in a federal penitentiary. He was a congressman for many years. He was involved in the Abramoff affair and pleaded guilty. And, of course, we'll be discussing his experiences and perhaps not his incarceration and why, but I am going to talk about is it as bad as it's made out to be among some circles that Congress is virtually paid off. And it'll be interesting to see what he's going to say.
Do you know what the interest rate the Federal Reserve charges the government for the privilege of essentially printing money out of thin air? And is it true that all U.S. dollars in existence are debt dollars? That is, there would be no more dollars left in circulation if we paid the federal deficit?
Geez, I don't know about the latter. I'd have to think through that. Kind of caught me off guard on that one. As far as what the Fed makes, it's very small. I think they charge them a penny or so for each bill that they make. And, they make millions of them. What that adds up to, I don't know. But the Fed, from year to year, makes somewhere about $300, $400, $500 billion, which reverts back to the U.S. Treasury. But not before they take their exorbitant salaries and other goodies that they get. The main reason to want a Fed Reserve, is because of its structure and how it helps those in power, banking, Wall Street, transnational corporations, insurance companies. But the most important factor is all the insiders know it's going to happen before it happens. And that's a strong suit there. And so now you know why they want a Fed. And, Andrew Jackson was the last president that really fought it. I know that Garfield was very much against it. He was killed for his trouble. Aaron Burr was the good guy. Alexander Hamilton was representing the British Crown, even though he was in the United States. He was born in Bermuda, if I remember correctly, and had been a British citizen like most everybody else in the United States. And Hamilton went a step too far, and it cost him his life. Had nothing, I don't think, to do, and I'm guessing, with this banking thing, but he wanted a bank so that they would have their own Federal Reserve way back then. And, of course, Andrew Jackson was the guy that really gave him fits. And but since then, there's